Hello, Sweet Daddy Jerm here. Just wanted to give you an idea of what's going on the show today. First, we're going to have some ramblings by Jerm along with a brief movie review for The Descent. Then we're going to have a visit from the Adonis Bro. And finally, story time. I'm going to tell you the tale of when I almost got kicked out of Disneyland. Thank you so much for listening, and welcome to the Sweet Daddy Jerm Show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sweet Daddy Jerm Show. I'm your host, Sweet Daddy Jerm, otherwise known as Jam Sandwiches. For anybody that's wondering why I'm sometimes known as Jam Sandwiches, I'll tell you a quick story about it. You see, several years ago, I was calling up a pizza place that I'd never ordered from before. They asked for a name to put on the account, and because I was in a silly mood, I was like, well, put down Jam Sandwiches. And they said, Jam Sandwiches, are you sure? And I said, yes, write that down before I have the chance to change my mind. I want that saved. And so a couple of weeks later, I'm hanging out with some coworkers, and I call to order a pizza. I put it on speakerphone. We make the order, and the person says, is this Jam Sandwiches? To which then I had to explain to everybody that I was a silly goose who sometimes got a little stoned and made bad choices. But now, funny thing, every single pizza place in my hometown knows me as Jam Sandwiches because I couldn't help myself. It's too silly. So there you go. That's the tale. The tale of Jam Sandwiches. He would roam across the land, spreading joy to all the good boys and girls. He would bring all the love from the jam sandwich world, because that's the kind of man he was. He was like the Johnny Appleseed of jam sandwiches. Everywhere he goes, he would make another delicious sandwich for someone. Usually he'd put just jam on it, which people didn't care for. Most people like a little peanut butter as well, but he would just make jam sandwiches. Yep, that's right. That's okay. We're living in a wonderland of sweet, sweet dreams. And by that I mean this is a nightmare. So now's the point on the Sweet Daddy Jerm Show where I talk about a movie that I watched recently. So if you haven't seen the horror movie The Descent, then warning, there's going to be spoilers ahead. But if you have seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Again, the movie is The Descent. It is a horror movie, and here we go. So I watched it the other night. The movie starts out, there's this group of women whitewater rafting, and they're having a swell time of it. And then this guy and this little girl are waving at one of the women, and the little girl's like, hi, mommy, and it's all sweet. And then they manage to get to shore because it's not that scary yet. And these whitewater rafters get to shore, and the husband helps one of the girls that isn't the wife, and they kind of exchange a little look, which makes you go, this bitch is fucking her friend's husband. And then the guy goes over to the wife. Then they leave, and the wife and the husband and the daughter are driving, and as they're talking all happily, they get in a head-on collision in which several copper pipes come shooting out the windshield, impaling both the husband and daughter. Mind you, we're backing away from the scene, and you can clearly see the husband's hand shaking and trembling because, you know, the brain's been all fucked up. Anyway, so that's horrifying, and we're literally like 4 minutes into the movie at this point. So the chick wakes up and she's in the hospital, and she has this hallucination where she's running through the hallways and all the lights are turning off behind her. And yeah, the mother suddenly comes to, and she's sobbing and runs into one of her friends. Her husband and daughter gone. Flash forward to a year later, these same girls meet up at this cabin. The same whitewater rafting girls meet up, and they're like, yippee, we're going to go down in this cave system and it's going to be so much fun. And we've got a book on it so we know where to go and how it's going to be. And mind you, at this point, there's 5 total women. There's the 3 from the beginning of the movie plus 2 more. So they go down in this cave. They're rappelling down into this place. And then they proceed to move through the cave a little bit. There's a cave-in, and they get trapped, and they have to find a different way out of this crazy cave system. Anyway, they nearly die several times. Then all of a sudden, something really awful happens. We start to see that there's some subterranean monsters down there. Subterranean monsters that want to eat the people. And they can climb the walls and shit. They kind of look like Golem if he had a really bad cold and his face melted a little bit. So these things start coming out and just grabbing them and murdering them, dragging them away, biting their throats out. It's madness. A couple of them get taken down. There's a third one that's fighting and kicking serious ass. And she kills 2 of them with a freaking climber's axe, an ice axe. And she hears something directly behind her and spins around and axes one of the other girls in the fucking head. And she's like, "Oh my God, you killed me." I mean, she doesn't literally say that, but you can tell by the expression that she's none too pleased. Needless to say, it's a horrific movie. If you want to know more about what happens, watch it. It's called The Descent. It had me on the edge of my seat the entire time, which wasn't easy to do because we were in an automobile watching it. Yeah, by the way, here's a pro tip for anybody out there that is sick of hanging out in their house. Get yourself some sort of tablet type device. Put on Netflix or Hulu on it and go ahead and download some of the shows and or movies you can download. Then you drive out into nature under a starry night. You put that thing up on your dashboard. You sit there and watch a movie. And it's a nice way. Yeah, you can have a little smoke session. And it's a lovely way to spend an evening. And it's a way to get out of the house a little bit. So consider that, boys and girls. Download some shows or movies onto your tablet device. And then head out and watch a movie under the stars somewhere. All right. So it's been a wonderful time chatting with you. It's a time for a word from our sponsors. That's a really, really bad Italian accent. Really, really bad. I can do better than that, but I'm not going to. Here's a word from our sponsors. At Clement Darlington's Authentic Mexican Grill and Colonoscopy Clinic, you can enjoy some of our authentic Mexican food while you have all your colon-related needs covered. Our talented chefs know how to turn farm-fresh food into savory delights from down south of the border. And they all know how to diagnose and treat a number of colon-related maladies as well. We now offer curbside prostate exams with minimal wait times. Bring the kids and make a day of it. Come on out to the only place in town that can agitate your colon while cleaning it out at the same time. That's Clement Darlington's Authentic Mexican Grill and Colonoscopy Clinic, just off I-5 in Torkelman City. Remember, we can give you the runs for your money. All right. I want to thank that sponsor for taking the time to support the show. I really do appreciate it. I know that most of our sponsors are local businesses, and it's the least I could do but take their money when they want to sponsor me. Boy, that makes me sound like a real asshole. But you get the idea. Anyways, pretty soon you know what time it is. That's right. It's time for the Adonis Broment with the Adonis Bro. Hello, am I speaking with the Adonis?
Shalom.
Shalom to you, sir. How are you?
You're welcome.
What's going on?
Oh, bro, we're just, making history, breaking records.
There you go. That's the spirit. Oh my
How are
goodness.
you? How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. It's been an interesting day. I got a call from a phone scammer trying to get personal information from me, so I went ahead and saved their number so I can give them a call later and mess with them a little bit.
Oh, bro, that's, this is what you got to do is, you just got to get a new phone every couple days.
Just every couple of days.
Yeah, they're always listening.
That's true. That's true. Now, forgive me if this is out of line, but suppose I managed to figure out where this person was living and I wanted somebody to go over and rough them up a little bit. Might you know anybody that could take care of that for me?
Oh, I mean, bro, you're talking to the lieutenant of the Raider Nation.
Mm-hmm.
I got some Nation brothers I can put you in touch with,
There we go. I could see.
Nation style.
Nation style. Well, I assume that's going to result in some serious injuries on the part of the party that has been wronging me.
It's only illegal if they get caught.
There you go. And I assume that since it is the Raider Nation, you guys probably don't get caught too often.
Exactly.
Well, there you go. Good stuff. Well, I'm excited to be talking to you again. The segment that was on the first episode of the Sweet Daddy Jerm Show was wildly popular. We had a lot of positive feedback, so I really do appreciate you being a part of the show.
Yeah, I'm not, like nothing, not surprising. That's the way it is. With the Adonis Bro, that's why I tell people you put the Adonis Bro on the poster, and the people will come.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's that kind of incredible publicity that makes you an asset to my show. That's for sure.
Shalom.
Shalom to you again. Let's see here. So I did want to ask you a few things. I don't know too much about your day-to-day life other than just being the incredible Adonis Bro. What exactly do you do for a living besides be amazing?
Well, you know what SSIIS question mark?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Well, they say I'm crazy. Now they have to pay me
I see.
$900 every month.
Damn.
That's what I get.
That's not bad. $900
I
a
have
month.
Raisin Bran every morning.
Wow.
Raisin Nation.
Raisin Nation. That's the spirit.
Yeah, well, they say I hear voices, bro. But maybe you're just not fucking listening.
That's exactly, I was thinking about it the other day. I don't hear voices unless I listen, so that's actually pretty accurate. If I choose not to listen, no voices whatsoever. Exactly. So, I know I'm getting a little personal with you here, but I have found myself a little curious. What exactly do you look for in a romantic partner, Adonis?
Are you bi-curious?
You know what? I'm a little bit bi-curious when it comes to some folk, yes.
Well, for the Adonis Bro loves fat chicks.
And only chicks, or, because I got a decent gut.
No, only fat chicks for the Adonis, because fat chicks give the best head.
Do they?
Do you know why?
Why's that?
Because they're hungry. And because they have to.
Because they have to.
Raider Nation.
What about the Adonis, though? Again, I apologize for being so personal, but can you give me an idea of what your love life has been like?
Well, like I was telling you, last week on the show, I just drive around in the van, and just, I get head every day,
Now, is that part of van life, or is that something specific to you?
that's the reason I have a van,
Right.
so I can get head.
Okay. So not
Van
just.
doesn't even, bro. The van doesn't even run. Okay,
Uh,
the van, the van, in the shop most of the time. But as long as I have the van, we have somewhere to go.
there you
Raider
go.
Nation.
I I hear you. Many a time have I been about to receive oral sex and then realized I do not have a van to be in, and everything fell apart at that point. As soon as the girl noticed that, no more for me.
Fail.
Yeah, exactly. So now I got to get a van. You've really inspired me. It's
I know a guy.
Do you know a guy? Now, does it run, or would it be one of those stationary vans?
Well, see, you got to go to. You have to customize it for your liking. So I've got mine, jerry rigged,
Hmm.
where only I can start it, and nobody can ever get in it. And, you have to be in control of your van. It's your
Hmm.
life.
Right. And it's like a lifestyle. The van lifestyle is what I've heard. You got to change.
There's only one.
Right. Exactly. Now, do you have a hibachi grill, or are you figuring out some other way to have your food? Because some people in vans like to have a nice grill that they can just bust out, make themselves a treat. Like, I don't know if you ever watched Scooby Doo, but they had a van, and Shaggy and Scooby were always making food in the back of the van.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's they're smart guys. I mean, I learned a lot of my cooking techniques from prison.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of a lot of ramen.
Okay.
Uh, and of course, I'm Jewish, so I eat kosher. So I'm real, strict
Sure.
with my, what I put in my, my fucking body.
Oh, that's smart. It's a good idea. It's definitely important to keep your health up, especially a man as uh, exceptional as you, Adonis.
Well, what you do, bro? Honest, you want some diet advice?
I
You know,
do.
what,
I could use it.
here's what you do. You starve yourself
Hmm.
all day,
Okay.
and then at night you eat whatever the fuck you want, bro.
Right. I see.
Gorge.
Okay. So you're only having the one meal, and you're basically you're depriving yourself of carbs and calories for two meals for sure, and then that third meal you can basically do whatever you want.
You gorge.
Yeah. See, I've got the gorging part down, but I've been doing it for each meal. So I think that's where I'm going wrong.
As long as you can still get head, that's all that matters.
I I'm very lucky. I do occasionally still get head despite not having a van. Uh, so
It's impressive. It's impressive.
it is impressive. I find a cardboard box and like some old clothes to use as a pillow. Perfect. You tell them it's a van. Just make sure they don't inspect it too much. Get them in there. Tell them I can't drive you anywhere because my van's actually out of gas. That way they don't think, hey, why isn't he driving me anywhere in this van?
It's, think outside the box. I like, but you're in the box. I like it.
I'm inside the box, thinking outside of the box. Exactly. And that's the kind of man I am. So if you ever need someone to assist you in thinking outside of the box while remaining fully inside of a box, I'm your man.
Shalom.
Indeed. You're welcome. So, what is on the agenda for the rest of your night, Adonis? I know that you're a very busy man. You don't have too much time to chat, but I am curious what you got going on.
Well, I put, probably, probably gonna go to sleep.
Yeah.
In a little bit, you got to get at least 15 hours of sleep a night.
Oh my God,
Yeah, it's
15
important. 15 solid,
solid hours.
uninterrupted.
Okay.
But you know, well, we'll see. I did get head this morning, so
Good.
I'm the day. Mission accomplished.
Right.
That's all you need.
Sure. You set yourself up for an important goal. You hit that goal, and then guess what? The rest of the day is yours to do as you please.
Exactly. You just coast.
Just coast on that one beach. Not bad.
Life advice.
That's great life advice. Speaking of beej, that's one of my favorite terms for it is a beej. But what are some good terms you have for a blowjob? You said head. That's a very obvious one, sure.
Well, a lot of people, I'm guilty of it. I say, I get head, but really, I fuck faces.
Oh, you're a face fucker. I get
every
it.
day.
I got you. Okay.
I like to, I get into some, I can really tell, get into it,
Sure.
we, I'll get some, some peanut butter if I need, whatever, you got to spice it up.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, definitely mix, food, with it, tell her, here, you're hungry? Well, here you go. Here's your lunch.
There you go. A little protein with your protein. Not bad. Not bad at all. So keep that in mind, everyone. If you want a little sausage slobber and you want to mix it up, why don't you go ahead and get yourself some peanut butter? I think that'll solve it. Now, it's important to note, ladies and gentlemen, do not include celery or like raisins into, although, the Adonis might like some raisins. That's true.
Apple slices.
Apple slices and peanut butter. Just layer it, kind of layer it like a, what do you call it? An artichoke. Yeah, makes sense.
That's what I do to them. You artichoke them, bro. You know what's so much going on. Yeah, you know.
Exactly. I got you.
And what's the best part of the artichoke?
The heart of the artichoke.
The throat.
The throat of the artichoke. I wasn't aware that artichokes had throats, but I suppose you can fuck anything, can't you?
I mean, after being in prison for over 20 years, yes.
Well, it's been a delight talking with you, Adonis, and I do appreciate you being a part of the show. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we go? Oh, let's definitely plug all your things. Go right ahead. Tell us where we can find you.
Facebook.com/the Adonis Bro.
Nice.
Give it a like. Have a good night. Raider Nation.
Keister's has the best in Easter decorations. We've got bunnies, chicks, and eggs available in both pink, light blue, as well as yellow. Don't like pastel colors? Then you can fuck right off. Need St. Patrick's Day decorations? Too bad, go somewhere else. All we sell here are Easter decorations. We are open 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year. Our accountants inform us that the company is barely staying afloat due to our insistence on staying open year-round. But what the hell do those nerds know? Keister's is the name for Easter decorations. We've even got white chocolate Jesus on a milk chocolate cross. Or if you don't believe in Jesus or prefer not to celebrate his crucifixion, we also have chocolate eggs and bunnies. Keister's is the name and Easter decorations is the only thing we sell.
Come down and see the difference at Guy Zach's & Sons Hardware Emporium. We offer amazing prices that even a depther could appreciate. Need a wrench? No problem, we have some. What about a paintbrush? We have several. Don't let your Pringles drop down. Easter is coming. Want some paint to go with those brushes? We have several colors. So many colors that you won't know how to even quantify them by shade. We are humans. Guy Zach's & Sons have you covered. Naturally. At Guy Zach's & Sons Hardware Emporium we are humans and not an alien scout team sent here to prepare for an imminent invasion. Why annihilation of your species isn't on our minds at all. Come to our human store and buy human implements from humans just like you. Too many floor tile? We can help. Too few mousetrap? We have it too. Our coordinates are 3265 Cambert Way in Tarlington. Remember, at Guy Zach's & Sons Hardware Emporium we are humans and not an alien scout team sent here to prepare for an imminent invasion. You can go about your normal daily routines. We are human.
And here's the story of how I almost got kicked out of Disneyland. It was around November in 2019. My girl and I were excited about going to Disneyland. It was going to be my very first time. And as much as I'm a bit of a cynic, I actually found myself getting excited about it. I was a little nervous about potentially, being in these gigantic crowds, which was pretty much guaranteed. But I was excited to get through it anyway. So the weeks kept going by and we kept getting closer and closer to the time we were going to be going to Disneyland. Now you have to understand, my girlfriend Jackie's family does not do anything half-assed. So we weren't going to Disneyland for a day. We weren't even going to Disneyland for a couple of days. We were going to Disneyland for 7 days. 7 days, every day going to Disney. Which, even now talking about it, sounds overwhelming. Holy crap. But nonetheless, I was starting to get excited about it. I'd never been there. When I was a little kid, I always wanted to go, but there was no way my mom would ever be able to afford it. So this was huge. I had to save up $1,000 to pitch towards my ticket, which was no big deal, saving up that money. Anyways, November rolls around, and we're going to leave about the 3rd week of November. And my girl and I realize, holy crap, there's not going to be any way to smoke weed while we're at Disneyland all day. We might be able to smoke a little weed when we get back to the hotel, but when you're going to be at Disneyland for 12 hours, first of all, you don't want to do it sober if you're not a child. And second of all, if you don't drink, you better figure something out. So initially we thought, oh, no problem, we'll use cartridges. We'll use distilled THC cartridges. But then we realized there's no smoking whatsoever in Disneyland. No cigarette smoking, no vaping, no nothing. So I get the idea of buying some edibles. I mean, it makes perfect sense. We can eat the edible, head to Disneyland. Within 45 minutes, we'll be high as a kite and be having fun. Not that you need to be high to have fun, but again, Disneyland is insanity, so being a little bit fucked up can make it more fun. Anyways, we contact one of the local dispensaries, and they happen to have a really good deal on edibles. We end up buying about $60 worth of edibles, which is something like 4 brownies and 4 Rice Krispie treats. We're talking a good 4 pounds of edibles. So we go ahead and buy all these edibles. We load them into this little backpack that she has, that my girlfriend has. So we put the bunch of edibles into this little black backpack. We grab all of our other luggage, load it into the car, and start driving from Chico, California all the way to Disneyland. So we make the trip. It's a long ass drive, but it's pretty fun, listening to music and all that stuff like you do. So we finally get to our hotel. It's a very nice hotel room. It's huge. It has a separate room that's where the beds are. So it's got a living room and a bedroom and a dinette with working microwave and dishwasher. The point is, it's one of the nicest hotel rooms I've ever been in. So we get there, we start unpacking our clothes and whatnot, but it's time to hurry up and go. At this point, it's about noon when we finally get to our hotel. So after everybody's had a few moments to rest, we all load into this tram that leaves the hotel and heads to Disneyland. My girl has her little black backpack. we get just to the outside gates, just before you're actually allowed into the park. So we're heading up to the gates to go into Disneyland. As we're walking up, we realize on my girlfriend Jackie's keys, she has a pocket knife there for protection. There's no weapons of any kind allowed in Disneyland. So on the way up, we remove the knife from her keychain, throw it in a garbage can. That's all we could do. We didn't want to have to run back to the hotel. Jackie's got her black backpack, and we head up to the part where they walk you through a metal detector and you have to show them what's inside your bags. I go through the metal detector and it's no problem. Her entire family is in front of us waiting within the park. I go ahead and head over to her family. I'm talking 6 nice Christian people standing there waiting for me and for my girlfriend. My girlfriend's dad says to me, "Hey Jerm, go check what's taking Jackie so long." I'm walking over and I notice Jackie's been led to the side of the area where people are being searched. I walk up, and as soon as I get within 5 feet of my girlfriend, all I can smell is pot. All I can smell is a whiff of the dank. It turns out we had completely forgotten to remove the edibles from her backpack and instead brought $60 worth of edibles with us to Disneyland. Now, the security guard said to her, "It doesn't matter whether this is medicinal or not, it's not allowed to be in the park. So what you can do is either take this stuff back to your car or your hotel room, and I do not recommend you consume it and come back into Disneyland, or we can throw this away for you and you can continue into the park." What a shitty situation to be in, boys and girls, because all of a sudden we had to decide whether we were okay with being mostly sober for the rest of our trip. It wasn't much of a decision to make though, because there was no way we could head back to the hotel room without explaining to her family why we were leaving before we'd even gone inside. So we go back to her family, and they ask why the hell security was stalling her so long. So we say, "Oh, she had that knife on her keychain, and we forgot about it." The parents never question a thing about it, and we go about the rest of our trip having a wonderful time and having little smoking sessions at the hotel when we have the chance. So I guess the story goes, Jerm didn't want to go to Disneyland for a little bit because he was nervous about all the crowds, but then he got excited about going to Disneyland. Then we drove to Disneyland, went to the hotel room, forgot to take the pot treats out of the backpack, went to the Disneyland opening gates, and were almost kicked out of Disneyland. There you go. That was story time. Hope you enjoyed it. Looking for a fun way to spend an afternoon? Heck, we all are. Come on out to the Museum of Unremarkable History. The date was August 28th, 1963, and a young Martin Luther King Jr. gave his iconic "I Have a Dream" speech. In our museum, you can see the actual pen that Martin Luther King Jr. used so that he could write his grocery list the day after the speech. July 20th, 1969, the Apollo 11 is launched into space as the world watches. Come see the pair of overalls that Neil Armstrong's gardener wore a week before the launch. At the Museum of Unremarkable History, we have all the minor pieces of history you could ever want to see. That's the Museum of Unremarkable History. We're open 24 hours a day, but only 3 days a week. Good luck figuring it out. And that's it for the Sweet Daddy Jerm Show. I've been your host, Sweet Daddy Jerm. If you enjoyed this podcast, why don't you let old Jerm know? Leave a comment or maybe tell a friend. Either way, thank you for listening, and I love you. And you know I do. See you next time. The Sweet Daddy Jerm Show is a wholly owned subsidiary of Jerm Co. Limited.